Tonight on CTV, we will take a look at the mob that took place at CU Boulder and crime updates in Larimer County.
Then we'll jump right into the CSU's cross-country team qualifying for the Mountain West Championship and how students feel about mask mandates. All that and more on CTV starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Robbie Patla.
And I'm Wadsworth.
Our top story tonight, hundreds of University of Colorado students took to the streets of Boulder and engaged in what is being described as a Project X type party on Saturday, March 6th. As many as 800 people flooded the streets of a neighborhood called University Hill. By 8 at night, the university issued an alert and police arrived to the scene shortly after. The party eventually got out of hand and a law enforcement armored vehicle, fire truck, and several other vehicles were damaged. A couple SWAT team members also sustained injuries. The students finally dispersed by 9:30 at night, and CU Boulder responded to the incident, saying they condemn the conduct on University Hill and any found responsible for acts of violence will be removed from the school. CU Boulder police are still investigating this event and urge anyone who may have information to report it to 1-800-222-8477.
A man was arrested on March 6th for attempting to hit deputies with a stolen car and causing a high-speed chase. Joshua Joseph Rendon, age 29, was arrested with charges of attempted first and second-degree murder of a peace officer, aggravated motor theft, second-degree criminal trespass, resisting arrest, vehicular eluding, criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, criminal possession of an ID document, and driving without a seatbelt. Rendon is currently booked in Larimer County Jail.
A Loveland man has pleaded guilty for possession of pipe bombs. Bradley Bunn, aged 55, was arrested last May by the FBI where 4 explosive devices were found in his home. According to FBI Special Agent Michael Schneider, Bunn intended to use these explosives against law enforcement. Bunn is an official member of an anti-government militia and stated on social media that he intended to bring his homemade bombs at the Colorado Capitol to protest coronavirus restrictions. Bunn's sentencing will commence on June 3rd.
Researchers at Colorado State University continue to advance the study of the current COVID vaccine and begin to develop a vaccine that may help in future pandemics. Scientists at Colorado State are researching 4 different coronavirus vaccine candidates currently and are developing a plan to create what they are calling a pan-coronavirus vaccine that could potentially help in future pandemics. One of these is Slavex, which uses UV light to stimulate a person's immune system and help fight the virus. While I shudder at the thought of living through another pandemic, it is comforting to know that researchers at Colorado State University are preparing for the worst.
Sometimes when tragedy strikes, it is the most we can do to try to move on in a positive way. The family and friends of Daniel Hopton are doing just this. On February 7th, 18-year-old Hopton died from injuries of an assault of domestic violence. Hopton's friends and family are making efforts to continue her legacy. They started a GoFundMe to raise funds for Larimer Humane Society and Guide Dogs for the Blind, both organizations Hopton had volunteered for, as well as for Crossroads Safe House, an organization that provides resources for victims of domestic violence. The fundraiser received nearly $40,000 in donations, and those surviving Hopton are hoping the funds will be put to use in a way that she would have been proud of. Well, don't go anywhere, Rams.
Because Zaya Hiley will be back after the break to give you your weekly report.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I'm Zaya Hiley, and I'm going to give you your weather rundown for the rest of the week. So we can start off by taking a look at our current conditions. We're at 33 degrees with some heavy cloud cover tonight. You can see we'll get occasional showers, so you know that rain might come in for a little bit and then go away and come back, so you can expect some of that. And we're having wind from 5 to 10 miles per hour, so not too crazy, but you'll definitely be able to feel the wind there. And now we can check out our CSU traffic report for us right here. We've got Colorado State University in the middle, of course, and you can see we've got this color-coded for you. So if you're seeing the green roads, those will be smooth sailing through there, and then yellow, you could experience some slowdowns, and red, you could get some stoppage. So you can see up here with College and Mulberry Street, there is a little bit of stoppages there, and then on Plum Street and Shields, there's some red areas. And then looking at the other side, we have a little bit of an issue on Taft Hill Road and Prospect Road, that there. But overall, we're seeing lots of green, so that's pretty good. And you can also see we've got these cones representing some construction. So we've got the intersection of Prospect and Shield is having construction, and it is causing slowdowns there. And then on the other side, there is another little spot here along Pitkin and College Avenue, but this one's not causing slowdowns. You should be able to breeze right through there, okay? And now we can move on to our overnight lows. You can see the rest of Colorado is having a pretty chilly night, just like we are. On the eastern slope, we've got temperatures in the 30s. We've got Lyman at 30. Burlington gets up to 39. And then a little warmer on the southern part of the state. We've got Alamosa at 29. That's chilly. But then we've got Pueblo at 41. Lamar 42. But the thing is, all of these areas on the southern part do have a red flag warning for very dry conditions. They're trying to look out for forest fires down there. And then if we move over to the western slope, we have temperatures in the 20s as well. We've got Telluride, our lowest, at 20 degrees, Gunnison at 22, Craig at 28, Grand Junction jumps up to 37. And then we can move on to tomorrow's highs. So tomorrow we're going to have a pretty similar day to today. You can see we get temperatures in the 50s up here. Burlington gets up to 63. Lamar gets to 70. They're going to be sweating down there in Lamar. And then along I-25, we're in the 50s and 60s. Pueblo gets to 61. Colorado Springs at 52 and Denver at 53. And then on the western side, completely different story. In the mountains, we're going to have cold temperatures. We've got Craig at 39 and a chance of snow in Craig. And then Gunnison gets up to 30, Telluride at 26, Alamosa warmer at 46, and Grand Junction, of course, showing off. They got 53 degrees over there. And then, however, if you're in Fort Collins like I am, you can check out tomorrow's forecast. We're going to have a high of 50 and a low of 27 with partly cloudy skies. So we still got a little sun left. We've got wind from 10 to 20 miles per hour, though, so that will definitely be able to, you'll be able to feel that there. And if you're counting down the days until spring like I am, we've got 11 days left. I can't wait for springtime. And then finally, we can check out our 5-day forecast. You can see Wednesday, that's going to be the last amount of snow, or the last amount of sun for you there. And then the rain is going to hit on Thursday and Friday. We've got highs in the 40s and lows in the 20s. And then in the weekend, you might have heard about it, we're getting lots of snow. So we've got on Saturday, high of 38 and a low of 24. And then on Sunday, it warms up, but we'll still be getting some snow. We've got a high of 41, a low of 25, and Sunday is your daylight savings time. So we'll be losing an hour. I will be mourning that hour on Sunday. But that is all the weather I have for you for this week. But don't go anywhere because Robbie and Ren have you covered with more news after the break.
A new study at Colorado State University found that the high demand for cannabis has created a large carbon footprint. As more states sign on for the legalization of cannabis, the demand for such products increase. This study was held by CSU graduate student Haley Summers, Professor Jason Quinn, and Evan Sproul. They analyzed the energy and materials needed to run indoor growing facilities. They found that greenhouse gas emissions produced from said facilities are attributed to electricity and natural gas consumption from lights, accelerated plant growth, and other environmental controls. The conclusion from the study shows that indoor cannabis cultivation results in emissions between 2,000 and over 5,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide per kilogram of cannabis. The team is currently searching for funding so that they can continue this research with the end goal of tackling environmental concerns.
Spring break is right around the corner. Many students are preparing to move out of the dorms earlier than expected.
Sarah Fowler is with us live in the studio with more on this story.
Thanks, guys. Well, we're hoping that the COVID-19 pandemic is soon coming to an end. CSU is still taking precautions for the rest of the semester. Spring break has been pushed back 4 weeks later than usual as a precaution, and with that, the dorms are moving out for spring break. I spoke with students that live in the dorms on campus this semester to get their perspective and thoughts on packing up. It has been almost a year since students were sent home for spring break and never returned back to the dorms. This year, with COVID-19 protocols put into place, CSU has found new ways to make dorm life safer.
Definitely it's going to be harder just because we have to move everything out since we're not coming back, so the process is going to be a bit rough, but it'll be fine.
I'm sure that we'll have to sign up for a time, kind of like we did for move-in, where we have to choose a time where we have to be out by then and then check out with the front desk.
Student spring break is later than ever to achieve the most in-person learning possible. CSU wanted students to have a safe spring break without returning to the dorms or classrooms due to the high risk of traveling.
where you have to do your online checkout instead. RAs don't go into the rooms until all the residents are gone, and then we check and make sure that everything is okay.
There are options for students to stay on campus if they wish, but will still have to be following the strict COVID regulations.
If they choose to stay on campus, that's something that they can register for. I know they're going to send out an email on the 15th or something where they can do that. Very similar to fall winter, where you just fill out that form and then pretty much you're able to stay for spring break and the extended rest of the school years.
All classes at Colorado State University will continue online for the rest of the semester after spring break.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm looking forward to spring break, but more than that, I'm looking forward to getting to sleep in until I have to go to my classes for the day.
I feel you there. Even though we will be at home, I'm looking forward to not doing classes with a mask on.
I hear that.
More on this topic, as surrounding states continue to lift mask orders, many may wonder, what will this mean for the future of restrictions here in Colorado? I took to campus to ask students their thoughts on the matter. Students at Colorado State University share their thoughts on the future of mask wearing.
I do think that masks are going to be kind of at least a somewhat ingrained part of our culture here for a little while, because this whole experience has kind of shown us oh God, everything we do is gross.
In my personal opinion, I think the state of Colorado has handled COVID outbreak. It's handled it about as good as anybody. So I obviously I don't think we're going to be at this point where we're going to be irresponsible and just, lift all mandates, especially at this point when we're right at the cusp of potentially ending this pandemic.
Compared to Texas's 2.7 million COVID cases, Colorado is currently sitting at just above 480,000, with Larimer County reaching over 20,000 cases. Data collected from the New York Times says that the average mask-wearing behavior in the Fort Collins area is around 65.6%, with Texas just underneath that at 64%. If Texas is lifting the mask mandate, what does this mean for Colorado? CSU students are hopeful and optimistic.
I'm thinking by June, July, things are going back to normal in Colorado. I think by end of May, Colorado's going to be good, looking good. June, July, almost normal.
Students believe that with vaccine rollout increasing, change may be just around the corner.
We're not wearing masks for ourselves, really. We're wearing masks for the ones around us. So I think once that older population gets vaccinated within the next few months, we don't got to be concerned about it anymore.
There is still hope, but we just have to work for it. We can't give up now, especially being so close to what I perceive as the end of this pandemic.
While Colorado is still requiring mask usage in all public areas, change may be coming soon, but only time will tell.
In a year full of change, something we can count on is ourselves, right? Well, that may not be the case, as a new study conducted at Colorado State University suggests that the pandemic may have drastically changed consumers' eating habits. Old habits may be hard to break, but the pandemic is teaching us new tricks like regular hand washing and even a new diet. Researchers from the Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics have spent months studying how society has shifted their eating habits both in and out of quarantine. The national study surveyed 5,000 U.S. households last fall in an effort to see what has changed and what is likely to remain after the pandemic. The survey branches across key demographics and income levels to reflect the economic toll that the pandemic has taken on individuals. The study indicated that the pandemic has also altered consumers' spending habits. The CSU team plans to publicize the data via a series of digestible fact sheets that will be available on the USDA-sponsored website. And that is lfscovid.localfoodeconomics.com. I have definitely noticed that my diet has changed since the quarantine has started. I haven't been eating out as much, but that doesn't mean I've been eating healthier.
I feel that. I, for one, have had a very odd eating schedule. Sometimes I eat all day, and then other times I just don't eat at all.
Not eating for days on end or all day definitely makes you a hooligan, Robbie.
You're right about that. Well, anyways, don't go anywhere, Rams, because Ellison Hubbard is up next to give you his top play of the week.